everybody to another episode of 22 Questions. I'm your host, Nico. Today we have a man with a vision, a man who cornered the market, saw an opportunity and took it. We're here with Blake.
Yep.
How are you, Blake?
Very good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. It's a gorgeous day outside.
So tell us a little bit about your story. Why you told me you were a couple of years in the bar industry. You were working hard, diligently, working under someone, and one day you decided enough is enough. I want to get paid real money.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it was. I was going to school up at UNT for finance, and I stuck with the bars. I was bartending through college, pretty much paid most of my college through bartending, and I just stuck with it. And I became a manager, then a general manager. Did that for a few years and proved myself, and now we're here.
Yeah. So, UT Dallas in particular, which is where we're located right next to UT Dallas, is kind of a particular market. UT Dallas has a specific vibe to it.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of adapt the bar and, I wouldn't say bar culture, but how did you adapt to the UTD student life here?
It's a great question. So when we were opening this bar, this was literally dirt. So we got to design the whole thing, pour the concrete, put the TVs up, everything, make the vibe. Then I brought a little bit of that from Denton, a little bit from Dallas, just picking and choosing cool things that I saw at bars to bring into this bar and to make it like an ultra bar as much as we could. While I was doing that, there was only certain times we could do construction, and so I actually Ubered. And so I would go on campus, get some kids on Uber, drive by here on purpose and be like, hey, I'm opening a bar there, what would you like?
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of feedback from doing that. And I think the goal is just to, teach the kids how to party responsibly.
Yeah.
Drink responsibly, socialize, have fun. And it's a fun opportunity for us to kind of mold young minds and show them when they leave here on their little bubble that this is how it's going to be whenever you go out into the world. So
yeah, I definitely, as a UT Dallas student, I definitely feel like this is, it's not intimidating, right? Because if you go to the Fox and Hound, for example, which is another local bar here, it's like very spacious. There's a lot of different characters, different type of people, and maybe if you've never been to a bar before, it can be a little bit intimidating. So, it definitely, me personally as a student, it's really appreciated that you kind of have this this little vibe going, and that's kind of your mission.
We love our Nook, man.
Would you say it was hard to get people to show up at first, or because you kind of did corner the market, you're only the bar closest to campus? Do you think it was just natural that people would show up?
So we completely financed our own on this, and so we didn't have a lot of money for marketing. Yeah. And so that was tough at first because we're more of a you tell someone, they tell someone, they tell someone, they tell someone. So we really didn't have a lot of money to go to UTD and be like, hey, we want to be everywhere on campus. And so the first year was really tough. There was times when I was in here with my manager and we'd just have a beer in the window and be like, hey, come on in, there's people in here, and then word started to spread. We started doing some fun events, and we tried 100 different things to try to see what stick. And we found the things that stuck and that the kids appreciated, that even the community appreciated. And we just stuck with that, and it grew and grew and grew over the last 5 years.
What were some of those things that kind of stuck? Were any of those surprising to you, and were some of them maybe disappointing, the ones that didn't stick?
Some of the big ones that stuck were like we do a pint night on Wednesday night where you come and you get the beer, you could take the pint glass home with you. Yeah. And so it's fun. You can get a collection. It's nice for the house when you're in the dorms, like now I have extra glassware and stuff. That was a fun one. We tried karaoke. I thought that would stick. That really didn't. We'll probably try it again. And some of the other ones are just doing like charity events. We do charity events for all over the community, helping out with the dogs, with the cats, with the animal shelters. The dogs and the cats. The animal shelters we help out with Network, which is a soup kitchen that's locally that blew up, and we help with that as well.
Okay. That's true. How did you? So you said you did your own financing for Drafthouse, so you didn't have any external help from a bank or anything like that?
No, not at all. That probably would have been easier.
Yeah. Do you, looking back, do you wish you had that financing, or are you happy with where you're at, or how you went through with it?
So the way ours worked out, I can see it from both angles, right? It's a double-edged sword. So now we have no debt coming in. Yeah. Or we have debt, but now there's less, out of our pockets. Yeah. And for me, the way my partnership works with the entity that I'm in, they own about 30 other bars in the United States, and this is how they do it. We are actually trying to open a second location in Garland, and we will be financing that portion of it.
Gotcha. Is there a particular reason why you decided to finance the next location?
So we're going to do half of it capital up front, and then half of it to buy the property. Okay. And so that helps out because it's a lot more to buy a property than to make a place look pretty.
Right. It extends your. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Do you think what were some of the memorable moments in establishing the bar, or maybe memorable moments in general that you've had within this bar? Because a prior conversation with this, so you kind of mentioned that there aren't really any bar fights here. Like it's not a rowdy bar. It's like
this is the safest bar in Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe even throughout your career, like what are some things like stood out to you in your memory, or things like that? Man, I can't believe that happened. Like I can't believe I saw that.
Whenever we were in Denton, I was running a bar up there called Rip Rocks, and when I came in, the old manager was leaving. And I was trying to put my touch on things, and so I came in. I asked the partners, like, "Hey, can I get a little capital, move some things around, spruce the place up?" And they gave it to me, and we ran with that. And I remember the second year after I was doing it, we were up like 35% from the previous 2 years. And so I looked at that and I was like, "Oh, okay, so I can do things around here." And they kind of gave me free reign, which was really cool too. Pretty much, either you do it or we'll find somebody that will. Yeah. And so that's where we went in that direction. And then when actually we signed the lease here, that was like the coolest thing in the world, because also the scariest thing in the world, because now the next 15 years of my life are here. Yeah. Now I've got all this money in a bank account from other people and myself. And now this is real. It's scary because I've got these people's, not their full livelihood, but a big portion of their livelihood, maybe their retirement or something to that nature.
It's a risk.
The restaurant industry is always a risk, no matter what. No matter what anybody says, it always is. And when we first wrote our first dividend check, that was also one of the really coolest things that I've ever done, because I got to write a check to myself. And I was like, it's all worth it now, And it took us about 2 years to do that. Like you said, it was really hard to build it up. Yeah. Because this is not like a party school, but the kids here do like to drink. They like to have fun. They like good food, and they like good atmosphere.
I heard a popular night is trivia night, right?
Trivia night, which I run.
Yeah, you run trivia. Yeah, I heard it's pretty popular. You earlier you mentioned that your marketing, you had no marketing budget, right?
Yep.
Those first 2 years, you're just like,
word of mouth, man.
Get in
word
here,
of mouth.
come on.
We would stand out there, we'd do stupid videos out in the plinth and post them and be like, "Hey, come to Northside Drafthouse." Just, dumb things. We thought about doing like an old SNL skit where they were the cheerleaders for the chess team and go and do a chess match or something. And then the school wouldn't let us do that.
I mean, it must be hard. If I do that, and then somebody's like, "Ah!"
Yeah. This was pre-TikTok too, though, so it would have helped a lot more if we had that.
So now, what about now? Do you have a marketing budget? Are you doing anything like in terms of marketing, or?
We usually use our bartenders or our patrons that follow us now, because our social media following is big enough that when we post something, we'll get people to share it for us. And we've done a few things where we bring in some of the sorority or some of the fraternity people, and hey, we'll buy you some food. Just shoot us a little Instagram, throw us out that way. Like, we don't try to, now that we're consistently making money, we're not feeling that we need to push a ton of money into marketing, because now it's word of mouth has worked for us.
Now you've got an inflow now.
Yep. And if it ever starts to slow down, then that's when we go, okay, what are we doing wrong? And then try to pivot from there.
Right. When you wrote that first dividend check, right? The first check for yourself, how did that feel after, working, you said 5 years in the industry?
I've actually been in the industry since I was 18, so
18?
A very long time.
Okay.
21 years.
well, there you go.
But running bars, it was about 7 years.
Okay,
at that point.
After having that experience, how did it feel to finally, cash in a check that was like, you know what, this, I built this, It
was very surreal. Yeah. It didn't feel like I wrote it and I was like, I just put it to the side and I just kind of kept it there, and I wrote everybody else's to send them out, and I just kept on looking. I was like, I got to actually do that. That's super cool. Like, and it's all made it literally worth, you know, because when building this place, it was blood, sweat, and tears, man. It was 6 months of us coming up every single Monday through Friday that we could do construction. And okay, knock this out. Okay, knock that out. Okay, knock that out. Okay, we don't like that. Let's switch it over to here.
Yeah.
And building, you know, from welding to cutting pipes to building a bar top. Like, it was all that. The goal was this, you know, and to have a fun atmosphere at the same time, you know.
What's the construction process like? I mean, like you said, like the way that you picture it, you know, I can't imagine. It must have been super stressful because, you know, you have to be there supervising, making sure things are going smoothly. Like, how did you manage that? How was that?
So we had a general contractor, and that only goes so far, and that's putting up like the walls, the plumbing, and things like that, things that we can't do. So we probably had a general contractor do 70% of it, which I oversaw as well. And then we had my old general manager, my new general manager, and an old manager from 5 years ago. The five of us, we were the people that, you know, brought this place in. We also had a friend that had a lot of construction like experience, and so he came in and helped us as well. But it was really cool coming in and being like, okay, well, we're doing that, that, and that today. Okay, knock it off, knock it off, knock it off. Because it's very intimidating. Like, I remember I had like an old cocktail napkin, I still have it, of like the design I wanted, because it was a big square. And so it was like, okay, well, I want this here, this here, this here, this here. And it switched a little bit, but for the mainstay, it pretty much stayed the same. And actually being able to, you know, tell people like, this is the vibe I want here. You know, there is a bar science, 100%.
Yeah.
And whenever you walk in, there's things that you see, there's things that you don't see. And you've got to make sure that each customer enjoys the experience the way the last one did. And so staying consistent is really cool too.
What would you say is your first piece of advice that you tell anybody who kind of wants to go into food and beverage industry? You know, you specifically have a bar. So what would your advice be to someone who wants to get into that?
Like starting out, I would say start at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you want to do like bartending in school and stuff like that, but start as a bar back, start as a waiter somewhere. I started in corporate, and there's nothing wrong with that. You get a really good structure, but I don't like necessarily doing the way corporate does. I mean, it's to the book, and there's a 1-800 number you can call to get somebody fired, and nobody wants that, you know. But put in the work. Like, learn each job and do each job the best that you can, and ask questions. Like, anytime a bar back comes up, there are no dumb questions. We might make fun of you a little bit, but but yeah, put in the work, and then if this is something you want to get into and stay into, keep doing it and push and ask and try to say, hey, well, what do I need to do? Like, go to your boss and say, what do I need to do to move to this level, to this level, to this level, to your level? And I'm always willing to sit down and talk to someone and let them know my path. And it might be different, their path might be different, and they might do way better things than I do, but I can at least show them what I did.
Right. It's showing initiative and learning the ropes from the bottom up.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Because then you appreciate everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not afraid to go in and squeegee a broken toilet or something in the middle of a busy shift. Like, I mean, I'll go mop a floor. I don't
if you're
care.
the owner, you know, like,
you have to.
You have to. Like, if an employee is like, you know what, I'm not doing this, I quit. Like, who else is going to do it, right? So, what about work-life balance, right? Because, you know, bar, sure, it has its slow days, but, you know, you're always open, right?
Yep.
So, how does the work-life balance work, and how do you, and this would be a secondary question, but how do you manage, you know, delegating tasks and things like that? Like, do you, because a lot of people also struggle with that, you know, like,
a lot of people struggle with that.
Like, it's like your baby, right? You don't want to give it to anybody, right? So
the first year was like 70-hour work weeks, minimum.
Yeah.
I was here from open to close. I take a little bit of time, and it's hard on a relationship. It's hard on family. It's hard on yourself. Like, mentally, it's hard to stay. Physically, it's hard to stay like fit and ready to go. But you know what your end goal has to be, and so if you see a vision, you need to show everybody, this is the vision that I want. And so at first, it's really hard. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's fun at the very, very beginning, and then it's the work that you have to put in, and now it's more fun, you know, because now I've instituted the way I want it ran, the way I want things done, the way, if there's a problem, that's how you handle it, to my managers, to my staff, to everyone. Everyone from the bottom to the top knows how I want things done. And I'm not always right either. Like, I know I've got, you know, plenty of things that I've told them to do, and they're like, well, what if we did it this way? And that's what I appreciate too. And I don't know, it's cool to see all that like come together.
Yeah.
Now the work-life balance, a little bit later. Now
Yeah.
I'm mostly doing like the back of the house stuff. I've got manager in the front. I don't want to be the face anymore. I want them to be the face. I want the college students that are bartending to be the face, the barbacks to be the face, and bring people in because, hey, let's go see, Brian, let's go see tonight. Not let's go see Blake.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you won't be there, right? You got to do other stuff, and you want to keep that experience consistent.
And I have an amazing staff that does that all the time, and everybody loves coming up to see them. And if there's a problem, with the staff can always come talk to me. The customers can always come talk to me. If you've been coming here long enough, you've seen me in here, and you can come by and say hi anytime.
Now, being the owner of the bar, what's your favorite drink?
I'm a craft beer guy.
Craft beer?
And then I like bourbon.
Bourbon?
Yep.
Okay. What's your favorite craft beer?
Man, that's hard to say. Maybe my favorite brewery.
Yeah.
That'd be better. Probably Jester King down in Austin.
Jester King.
And then secondary would be False Idol, and that's like in North Richland Hills.
What about what's your favorite thing or not your favorite thing? What's the most complicated or crazy thing that you serve here in terms of drinks? Like, is there any like?
We've got a craft cocktail thing. Nothing's really too complicated though. We make it easy because we're a volume bar, and so you don't want to have a egg white floater, because it takes too long. Probably the most complicated thing is our old fashioned. That's what we're known for when people come up to, because we do a little smoke on it. We use a good whiskey, and we take time doing it. We use the big ice cube so it doesn't melt down as fast. And you can choose from well all the way up to a $30 one. Yeah. And people come in and they try different things. And maybe one day you got a little extra money in your budget, and you're like, hey, give me the really good one. Just so I can tell the difference.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends they've been in here and they've tried the wall, right?
Yeah, it's conquering the wall.
They tried to conquer the wall. Tell me a little bit about how that got instituted. Like, what was the catalyst to that idea?
So we have 50 beers on draft, which is insane. Yeah. It's crazy to try to keep up with all of them, but it's fun too because we can do a variety of different things, from sours to seltzers to double IPAs to triple IPAs, going crazy. At one point we had a 16.5% beer on. Right? Oh, wow. That's insane, right? And we're also very cautious with that. If you order one, the next time you come up, we're going to ask you a couple questions like, are you good? Do you remember drinking that? Not really. But conquering the wall, it was, we were just kind of sitting here one day and be like, how cool would it be to just drink them all, right? Yeah. Just 1 through 50. Yeah. And obviously you can't do it in a day. A, it's illegal. B, it's impossible. There's no way anyone could do it, and don't try. You can't, because we won't let you anyways. Yeah. We were like, this would be cool, and then we can give them a t-shirt, put their name on the wall, and it's kind of like people that want to come try different things. And that was a thing too, is we want you to try different things. Like in college, come up here, we'll give you an experience. We'll tell you like, hey, you always drink this, now try this one. Yeah. And if you don't want to, you don't have to, but if you're looking for something different, we got you. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to still variety, right? Me personally, I've never been like a huge beer guy, but one day I walked in and I was looking at the wall. I was like, I'm gonna try one of these, right? Let me see what looks interesting. And I kind of like that because normally when you go to a bar, it's normally just like a boring menu or something like that. But no, here you have like an entire chalkboard. And it's like, it's well designed and it's got all the information anybody could ask for. It's not intimidating. You can just walk in and that looks interesting. I'm gonna get that. Give me a 12. Yeah. We also have a 50-sided die that one of the professors gave us. Really? And he brought it in and he was just like, this is for you because this will be fun. And I was like, that's cool. And so we have the die back there. You can just roll it under a cup, and then whatever one it gets, that's what one you're gonna get. I'm gonna try that next time. I didn't know you guys. That's like the secret menu, like the Taco Bell secret menu. Yeah. I like that. So you said that you guys are expanding, you're setting up a new bar in Garland, but what's the future vision for this bar for Drafthouse? Do you have any future plans for it, or are you thinking about anything that you're adding, anything like that? A wise man once told me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to keep going. So we're looking for all the new things, all the new fads that are coming on, and trying to integrate them as much as possible. Yeah. We just added an awning, which we're going to get heat and misters and things like that underneath. and that'll be nice for the summertime and the wintertime. We can actually sit on a patio. But yeah, I mean, it's also just, it's going with the trends. Like now we have a tikka masala pizza. We never thought we would ever do that, and it's selling like crazy. And so we're just trying to find things, and we ask people all the time. We have the bartenders, my managers, everyone asks all the time, like, hey, what's something you would want? Like, what's something else that would be cool? And we get people that email us or hit us up on social media, like, it'd be really cool if y'all had this. And we're like, okay, we'll consider it. You know, we can't do every single one, otherwise it would be a completely different bar. But we take things into account and always try to just, you know, change with the winds. You know, that's something that I kind of liked about Draft House, because I remember when we were having like this, it wasn't severe winter, but like things were severe for Texas, right? We had a severe Texas winter, and things were like freezing over and things like, and then on your Instagram, you're like, you know, if you can handle the cold in the patio, we'll give you $1 beer. And I was like, that's good marketing. I like that. I like that. So there's some legality behind that too, obviously. In the state of Texas, you can't sell something for less than what it costs me to buy it. So like back in the day, you'd do like nickel natty lights and stuff like that. You can't do that anymore. They nixed that. But we found things on the menu that were like, hey, you know, we could, you know, this has been on for a month or a month and a half. Like, let's get some kids out here and see if they can sit in the cold. And so we were like, hey, your pint's $1 if you can sit in the cold. And it made people share it, and they were taking videos and throwing it all over, and it was a lot of fun. And then they got to try random beers for $1 too. I thought it was super creative. I love the idea. But yeah, I like that you guys are always innovating. You guys are always thinking about new ways to like get people in the door, and you know, it's nice. You know, before we conclude, is there anything that maybe you want to, you know, tell the world, or you know, anything that a message you might want to share? You know, maybe a little experience of the most humbling thing in my life is getting through COVID. That was a really scary experience when, you know, we were down to $50 down in our, you know, bank account. I've never seen that. Like, that sounds like a college kid, right? But for a business that's running $1 million a year, $50 in your bank account is kind of scary. And it got to the point where we had to, as the partners, pay out salaries just to try to get through. And the PPP realm came through. And we always had like, because campus was completely closed. And so I think I even kicked everybody out of the dorms at some point, and then everybody here was on lockdown. We still had the community and the people from here coming up to the window and saying, hey, can I get a pizza? And we'd like to support y'all. And then tipping the management, you know, to help them out as well. Because people still had money, and, you know, just because you know, aren't going to school there doesn't mean you're not getting your check, and you know, for your tuition and everything. And then also the neighborhood, like they would come up and order 50 pizzas and then hand them out to everybody in the neighborhood. And that was super cool too, because it was a point where everybody, we saw the love, because we've been trying to push love as much as we could and try to get everybody in the community to have fun, and all the kids to have fun and be able to, you know, integrate and come to a great experience. And then we saw the push back of, hey, y'all been doing that for us for a while, let us help y'all out. And they're the ones that got us through this. That and the PPP loan. But, but when you're only having, when you can't even have people sitting inside, that's a scary, scary moment in your life. And it makes you think. And there was days that I'd go home and just sit with my dog and, what am I going to do? And just start coming up with ideas and doing anything that we could to make a penny. And the fact that we made it through that was, like I said, one of the most humbling experiences of my life. It's all about community. Yep, 100%. Well, this was lovely. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I have to say, this is my favorite bar. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming out.